Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome if you are new. A big hello to everybody. So in today's video we're going to be doing a page from this book called Disney Portraits, and this is a book by a company called Hachette Heroes. So I thought we'd do a nice colour along in here, and I picked the Snow White page to do, so I thought that would be quite a nice one to do together. So I'm going to be using the Castle Art pencils for this. So I'm not sure if I've ever used Castle Arts in this book, so we'll see how they work together today. So the first colour I'm going to go in with is Sky Blue, and I thought we'd use this to make a start on her little cuffs on her dress, her arm cuffs. So I'm just going to use light pressure and go ahead and fill in this area, because I know this area is a little bit lighter than the main part of her dress. So I'm just going to use light pressure and add a base coat in here, and then we can go ahead and add in some shadows afterwards. So just want to say a big thank you to everybody that's just watched my completed pages. It's always nice to see all of you guys watching the videos and to see your comments that you leave underneath. So thank you very much to everyone that watched, liked, comment and subscribed as well, because I know I got a few new subscribers from that video. So welcome to the channel. Okay, and then we can see this little bit of another sleeve over here. So again, I'm going to do the same thing and use light pressure to add some colour in. Next, taking Cobalt Deep Blue 095, I'm going to use this to add a bit of shade into our sleeve details. So again, I'm just going to use light pressure because it's quite a dark colour, and I'm going to add a bit of shade here where it would be in shadow from her little neck piece. And then I'm just going to use light pressure and bring this colour along the side of this edge here. We'll add some shadow underneath here as well. So for this bottom piece here, I'm going to use normal pressure and really darken that colour up down there. And then I'm just going to lift off as we come up into the lighter blue. And again here, we'll just lift off as we come into the lighter blue. Okay, for this sleeve, I'm going to add a bit of a shadow in here. So I'm just going to do normal pressure behind this little piece here. And then again, as you come out towards the bottom here, we're going to lift off the pressure so that we can blend it into the lighter blue a lot easier. And we'll do the same up here. So light pressure, bring this colour a little bit further up. We'll add some in here. So I'm going to use normal pressure in here in this little crease and take it right down this bottom edge. And then again, I'm just going to lift the pressure off as you come away. And I think we'll just add a little shadow around these little details here, which I think they're going to be red. So I'm just going to use normal pressure right up against the edge of these pieces. And then again, I'm just going to start to lift the pressure off so that we can blend it out to the lighter blue a little bit easier. So going back in with Sky Blue, I'm going to go ahead and go over where we've added in our little shadows here. So just use normal pressure, take it over the darker blue just so that it all blends together nicely. So anywhere I've added the shadow, just going to use normal pressure and go over our shadows. And then I'm just going to start to add a bit more colour over here. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and fill in the rest of the sleeve. Then going back in with Cobalt Blue Deep, I'm just going to add a little bit more pressure onto our shadows just to try and make them stand out a little bit better. I have to excuse my dog sighing in the background. So I'm just going over where we added the shadows, just using normal pressure, and then again just lift the pressure off as you come out into the lighter blue. Then taking our white pencil, I'm going to make this sleeve a little bit lighter. So I'm going to use the white pencil to blend the blues together, and that way we'll keep the really light blue colour in the middle. So just use normal pressure, take it over the lighter and the darker blues, and it should just blend that out nicely. Next, going in with Scarlet Red, we're going to make a start on these red pieces inside of her sleeves. So I'm going to go ahead and do a light base coat on these first, and then we'll add a bit of a shadow into them. So just light pressure, go ahead and fill these in. Then taking Sepia 070, I'm going to add a bit of a shadow into these little red parts. So for this, I'm going to shade along this edge here. So I'll just use normal pressure along the edge, and then again lift the pressure off as you come towards the middle of the section. And I'll do the same for each of these little pieces. So normal pressure along the edge, and then lift off as you come towards the middle. For these ones, I'm going to add a little bit of a shadow to the top and lift off as you come down. And we'll do the same for this one. So darken up the top and lift off as you come down. Then going back in with Scarlet Red, I'm just going to use normal pressure, take it over the brown and fill in all of this section so it's nice and bright. And where we've added the brown, you'll just notice it gives it a little bit of a shadow. So I'll go ahead and fill in the rest of these little sections. Next, I'm going to take Lemon Yellow, and I'm going to go ahead and fill in her little cuffs here, because these are yellow on the pictures that I've looked at. So just normal pressure, fill that in. Then taking Cadmium Yellow Deep, I'm going to add a shadow to it. So I'm going to add a bit of a shadow here from the sleeve. So just normal pressure right up against the sleeve. And then again, I'm just going to lift the pressure as you come down the section. Then taking Ultramarine, which is a darker blue, I'm going to make a start on the body of her dress because that is a darker blue. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use light pressure again and do a base coat on here, and then we can go in with a darker colour and add in some shadow afterwards. Do in between the apple. Then taking Ultramarine Violet, which is a little bit darker than the colour that we just used, I'm going to use this to add in some shade. So I'm going to add some shade in here from her sleeve. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and darken up right underneath the sleeve detail. And I'm going to run this along this top piece here where this would cast a bit of a shadow down onto the dress. And along here. Then we'll go ahead and fill in these little pieces under here with normal pressure, so around the apple. Do a little bit in there too. And then we'll add a bit of a shadow all the way around the edge of the apple, just using normal pressure. And then I'm going to use normal pressure and add a shadow in under the arm. And now I'm going to start to lift the pressure off so that the colour gets lighter as it comes down, so that we can mix it into the lighter colour a little bit easier. And I'll do the same round here, so anywhere that I've just added in the shadow, I'm just going to start to lift the pressure off to bring the shadow out and to blend it out easier. Then going back in with Ultramarine, I'm going to go ahead and work on our blend. I'll use normal pressure up here where we've added the darkest colour and just fill that in. And then start to bring this colour further down. And then here as we come towards the bottom, I'm going to lift the pressure off, so it's going to be lighter at the bottom. Then going back in with our white pencil, I'm going to use normal pressure and go over this bottom bit here and just blend this out nicely. Okay, so moving back up to the top piece, I'm going to go back in with Ultramarine, and I'm going to do the same what I did for the bottom. So anywhere that I've added the darker colour, I'm going to use normal pressure and go ahead and darken up all of the shadows. So this top piece here, I'm just going to fill in completely using normal pressure. And then here I'm going to use normal pressure, take it over all of the shadow work that we've just done. Okay, and now I'm going to start to lift the pressure off as we come into the middle. So I want to make sure that I haven't got any sort of harsh lines, and then just go ahead and use lighter pressure, add a bit more colour into this really light section that we've got. And then I'm just going to work on anywhere that I can see any lines, just add a bit more pressure and work out the lines there. And then back in with our white pencil, I'm going to go over the light patch that we've just left in the middle and really lighten this up. Then going in with Lemon Yellow, we're going to make a start on the skirt. So I'm going to go ahead and use light pressure and fill in this area of the skirt. Then taking Cadmium Yellow Deep, I'm going to add some shade in. So I'm going to start by adding a line of shade here from the top of the dress. So I'll just use normal pressure. Oops. Just use normal pressure and fill in that piece. And then I'm going to add some shadow from these little crease lines. So just normal pressure and follow the line of the crease. We'll add a little bit of shadow here on this edge. Okay, then what I want to do is start to lift the pressure off so that we can blend this into the lighter yellow. So I'm just bringing the shadow a little bit further out and lifting the pressure off as it comes out. So anywhere you want a little bit darker, you can just add a bit more colour. Then I'm going to go back in with lemon yellow, and this time I'm just going to use normal pressure, and I'm going to take it over everything and blend everything out nicely. Okay, and now this bit here is like a little coat that she wears, and it's dark brown on the top and then it's red on the inside. So we're going to go ahead and make a start on the inside first. So I'm going to use Scarlet Red again so that we've got the same red that we used in here, and I'm going to go ahead and do a light base coat on the inside of her jacket. Then going back in with sepia, we're going to add some shade into her little coat. So I think we'll just do light pressure under here, but just sort of darken this up a little bit, because that would be darker under there. And then we'll use normal pressure right up against this edge here to darken that up, and along her arm. And then again, I'm just going to start to lift the pressure off so that we can blend this out into the red. And we'll add some normal pressure down this crease line here. Darken that up. And then again, lift the pressure off either side. Then back in with Scarlet Red, just going to use normal pressure and fill this in properly. So I'll take it over all the shadows that we've just put in and fill in the rest of her coat. Then going back in with sepia, I'm just going to work on this blend here because it's still a little bit harsh. So I'm just going to use really light pressure and just diffuse this line a little bit. And then using sepia, I'm going to go ahead and add a base coat into this part of her coat because this part is all brown. So again, I'll just use light pressure and add some colour in. Then using our black pencil, I'm going to use this to add the shade into here. So I'm just going to use light pressure and I'm going to add some in here. So I'm using light pressure, but even lighter as I come away. So it should blend quite nicely. We'll give this shoulder a little bit of a shadow as well. So again, just light pressure and then even lighter as you come away. We'll add a little bit to this side of the knot. And then again, even lighter pressure to blend that out. We'll add a little bit here. And we'll do a little bit on this side of the knot as well. We can always go back in and darken up the black, but we can't take it away. So I'm going to go back in with sepia and I'm going to go ahead and see how this looks. So I'll take it over the black and fill in this area properly, just using normal pressure. Okay, and the black's added quite a nice little shadow in there, so I don't think we need to do any more to that. So I'll fill in this side again using normal pressure. Okay, so next we're going to move on to the skin. So I'm going to start with the arm first, and I'm going to go in with Naples Yellow Light, quite a pale creamy colour. And what I'm going to do is add this to this side of her arm. So I'm just using light pressure. I'm going to add some of this colour and sort of take it to about halfway across the arm. And we'll do the same for this hand here. Then I'm going to go in with Cadmium Orange Light 074. And again, still using light pressure. I'm going to fill in the opposite side and just take it into the cream that we've just added. So she's very fair skinned, so I don't want to do too dark. I'm going to take this over the cream as well, just so that it all mixes together. But I'm still just using light pressure. And then taking Fleshlight number 20. This is going to be our darkest colour, so I'm going to use this for the shadow. So I'm still going to use light pressure. I'm going to add a bit of a shadow in here. And just light pressure to bring the shadow down. We'll add a bit of a shadow here from the join in her arm. Still just using light pressure. And then we'll go ahead and darken up the bottom edge of her arm. So I'm just going to use a bit more pressure there, darken that up, and then again just lift the pressure off as you come up into the arm. Then I'm going to go back in with Cadmium Orange Light, and I'm going to go over the darker shadow that we added. And I'm still only using light pressure, just adding a little bit more colour, bringing it a little higher up the arm. And we'll do the same here, so light pressure, take it over the shadows. And I think we'll add a little bit of this colour in here, so still light pressure. And then I'm going to go back in with Naples Yellow Light. This time I'm going to use a bit more pressure and I'm going to take it over our shadow up here. And down here. So I'm just using normal pressure this time with this light colour just to blend everything together so that it all mixes nicely. And then I'm going to start to bring this colour further up and fill in the top section of our arm. And then we've got our other hand here, So I'm just going to use Naples Yellow Light and just add a little bit of skin colour onto her hand. And then I'll use Cadmium Orange Light and just add in a little bit of shade just on the one side of each finger. And then back in with Naples Yellow just to blend that out. Okay, so sticking with Naples Yellow Light, we're going to make a star on the neck. So I'm going to use this colour and just light pressure and add it into the middle section here where the light would be catching. I mean, really, you can fill this in completely using light pressure. I think that's what we'll do actually. We'll fill it in completely and then we'll add the shadow on top. So going back in with Cadmium Orange Light, this is going to be our shade colour. So I'm going to start off light pressure again, just add a little bit of a shadow here. And then even lighter pressure again, just to bring the colour in towards the neck. We'll add some shadow along here. And again, light pressure to blend it out. And then we'll add some shadow from underneath her face. And again, just lift the pressure off to blend that out. Then taking Flesh Light, I'm going to darken up the shadows. So I'm just going to use this right up against this edge here. And then lift the pressure off as it comes in. Do the same over here, so normal pressure right up against the edge. And again, lift the pressure off as you come in towards the middle. And then we'll darken up a little bit underneath her neck. So I'm going to go back in with Cadmium Orange Light. And again, just using light pressure, just going to take it over the shadows. And then going back in with Naples Yellow Light, I'm going to use normal pressure this time and blend everything together. Okay, so next we're going to make a star on the face. So I'm going to use Naples Yellow Light, and I'm going to put this where I want the lightest parts to be. So I'm going to go ahead and just use light pressure and add this to the nose and around the lips here. We'll add some into the chin. And the forehead. So really just sort of like the center of the face. Then taking Cadmium Orange Light, I'm going to go ahead and use light pressure and fill in all around where we just added the Naples colour. So again, just like pressure, start to fill in the rest of the face. Then taking Azalea Pink, just going to add in a little bit of pink up here. So again, I'm still using light pressure, but I just want to add in a little bit of blush to the face. And we'll do the same on this side. So just light pressure, add in a little bit of pink. Just going to taper that off a little bit more. Then taking Flesh Light, I'm going to start adding in our shadows. So I'm going to do this right underneath her hairline. And I'm still just using light pressure. Bring this down the side of the face. And again, just light pressure to bring the colour forward a little bit. Do the same for this side. And then back in with Cadmium Orange Light, and we're going to use a bit more pressure this time and go over our shadow and just start to darken this up and bring the colour slightly further in. Do the same over here. And again, just lift off the pressure as you come in towards the centre of the face. Then I'm going to use Naples Yellow Light. And I'm going to use normal pressure and take it over the shadows that we've just added in around the side of the face. And I'll take it over the blush as well. And then here I'm just going to start to lift the pressure off underneath these little eyes. Then taking Cinnamon, I'm just going to use this to add a little bit of colour around her eyes. So I'm just going to use light pressure and just add in a little bit of eyeshadow. And I'm going to use this along the bottom of her eye as well. And then I'm going to go back in with Naples Yellow Light, and I'm just going to use normal pressure now and start to fill in the rest of the face. Then going back in with Scarlet Red, I'm going to make a start on her lips. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in the edges just using normal pressure. And then for the middle section, I'm just going to lift off the pressure so it's a little bit lighter. And then back in with our white pencil, just to blend that middle section out so it looks nice and light in the middle. Next, taking Burnt Sienna, we're going to make a start on her eyes. So I'm going to use this colour to fill in her eyes. So I'm just going to use light pressure and just fill in the circle part. We'll do the same for this one. Then going back in with Sepia, we're going to add some shade. So for this one, I'm going to darken up the top section here. So I'll just use normal pressure right under the eye and darken up the top half. And then I'm just going to lift the pressure off as we come down, so we've just got the lighter colour at the bottom. And we'll do the same for this one, so we'll darken up the top section. And again, just lift off the pressure as you come towards halfway down the eye. And then going back in with Scarlet Red, I'm going to do a base coat on her bow. So again, just light pressure and fill this in. Then taking Burnt Sienna, we're going to add some shade to the little bow. So I'm going to start by darkening up this little section here. So just use normal pressure there and then lift off the pressure as you come up towards the middle. We'll add some here, so normal pressure there. And then again, lift off the pressure to blend it out. Then for the centerpiece of the bow, I think we'll darken up this side and lift the pressure as you come over. And then we'll add some normal pressure here where these little creases are, darken these up. And we'll do some normal pressure right in the bottom join. And then again, I'm just going to lift the pressure off as it comes out into the bow. So we'll do the same for this one, darken up where it joins to the middle. And then again, lift the pressure off. Just darken up this little crease here. Then back in with Scarlet Red. Go over our shadow. Fill that piece in. And then here we'll take it using normal pressure over the brown. Make sure it's all blended nicely together. And then here in the middle, I'm just going to lift the pressure off so that we've got a bit of a lighter colour in the middle. Going back in with our white pencil, just going to go over that just to make it even lighter. And then again here for these little bows, I'm just going to start to lift the pressure off with the red. And then I'm going to go back in with the white and just use normal pressure to blend the bow out. We'll do the same for this side. Next, taking Cobalt Blue Light, I'm just going to use really light pressure and just add a little bit of a coat to this because it's kind of like a whitey kind of see-through colour. So I'm just going to use light pressure and fill this in. So next, taking Cadmium Red, we're going to make a start on the apple. So this is the darkest red. So I'm going to use normal pressure and darken up this side of the apple. So this side is going to be the darkest red. I'm going to start to lift the pressure off as we come into the middle part of the apple. So it gets lighter as it comes over. And we'll darken up under here, so we'll use normal pressure under here, darken that up. And then I just want to make sure I've got enough colour on here, so just add a little bit more colour. Then I'm going to go back in with the white pencil and use normal pressure, blend this part of the apple together where we left the lighter pressure, just so this stays nice and light. Then taking Cadmium Green, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the little leaf details. So I'll just use normal pressure, fill these in. And then using Sepia, I'm going to fill in the little stalk for the apple. Then taking Lemon Yellow Light, we're going to make a start on these daisy flowers. So I'm just going to use this colour and fill in the petals. It's quite a light colour. So I'll just use normal pressure and then we'll add in some shadows afterwards. we've got a couple over here too. Then taking Golden Yellow Deep, I'm going to add some shade to these. So I'm going to use this in the bottom sections of these petals. I'm going to use normal pressure at the bottom and then lift the pressure off as you come towards the tip so that the tip is the lightest part. And I'll do the same for all of these little flower petals. Then going back in with Lemon Yellow Light, I'm just going to go ahead and work on the blend line. So just use normal pressure and take it over both colours just to mix this together nicely and keep our lightest colour at the tip. So I'll do the same for all of the flowers. So I'll go back in with Golden Yellow Deep and add the shadow to the bottom of each petal. And then back in with Lemon Yellow Light and just go ahead and fill in the tips of each petal. Then taking Brilliant Yellow, I'm going to use this and normal pressure and fill in the middle sections of each flower just so they're a little bit more orangey. Then taking Cobalt Blue Light, we're going to do this flower blue. So I'm going to use this as a base colour. So I'm going to use light pressure and fill in the petals. Then taking Sky Blue, just going to add a little bit of this colour right around the centre using normal pressure. And then I'm going to start to lift the pressure as it comes up each petal. So just lighter pressure into the petals. Back in with Cobalt Blue Light, I'm going to use normal pressure now and fill this in properly. And we'll do the same for this flower here. So I'm going to go in with Cobalt Blue Light and do a base coat. And then Sky Blue, darken up the centre. And then again, just light pressure as you come up into the petals. Back in with Cobalt Blue Light and normal pressure to fill it in. Then taking Ultramarine Violet, we're going to make a start on this flower here. So I think we'll just fill in 1/2 of the petal with this colour, just using normal pressure. Then back in with sky blue, I'm going to fill in the other sections. Then taking Castle Green, I'm going to fill in these leaves. So just use normal pressure, fill these in. Then taking Cadmium Green, just going to add a bit of this to the bottom. So again, I'll just use normal pressure and then lift off as you come towards the middle. Do the same for this one. So back in with Castle Green, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the leaves on this side. And then taking Cadmium Green, we're going to add some shading. So this one here, I'm going to shade here because it's pushed back a little bit. So just normal pressure along that side. And then here, I'm just going to lift the pressure off as it comes into the other green. This one we'll do some down here. So normal pressure down there. And then again, lift off as you come up. Shade in here and lift off as you come down, and the same for these two. We'll darken up the top pieces and lift off the pressure as you come down. Then going back in with Cobalt Blue Light, I missed this little flower here. Then taking Sky Blue, I'll add in the shade. So we'll darken up around the center here and just a little bit in these petals. Then back in with Cobalt Blue, normal pressure, darken that up. Next, taking Red Ochre, we're going to make a star on the rose. So I'm going to go ahead and do a light base coat on all of these little petals with this colour, because this is going to be our lighter shade. Then taking Cadmium Red, I'm going to use this as our shadow colour. So I'm going to add normal pressure and just take it right up here at the base of the petal. And then again, I'm just going to start to lift the pressure off so that it gets lighter as it comes out towards the tip of each petal. And I'll do the same for all of these. Then going back in with our white pencil, I'm just going to use this to blend the tips of the petals. So just normal pressure, take it into the darker red and just blend that all out nicely. Then going back in with Castle Green, I'm going to go ahead and fill in these leaves. So again, I'll just use normal pressure and fill these in. Then taking cadmium green, I'm going to add some shade in. So this one I'm going to shade at the bottom here where it joins to the rose. And then just lift off as you come up the leaf. This one will darken up here because it would be in shadow from the leaf in front. And again, lift off as you come up. Do some to the bottom of this one. And then again, lift off as you come up. Add some to the bottom here and lift off as you come down. Do a little bit in the bottom there and add a little bit to the bottom of this one. So going back in with Orca Red, I'm going to do this one red too. So I'm going to do a light base coat on here. Next, taking cadmium red, we're going to add some shade to this flower. So I want to darken up these edge pieces. So I'm just going to use normal pressure and fill in these little edge sections. And then I'm just going to use this colour along the bottom, normal pressure, and then lift off the pressure as you come towards the middle. And I'm going to do the same for each petal. Then I'm going to use Opera Rose to fill in the rest of this section just so that it stays really light. Add a little bit of a pink tone in there. So I'm just using normal pressure, filling in the rest of these little sections. And we'll use this to fill in this circle around here. And then taking Brilliant Yellow, I'm going to fill in the middle piece. Next, taking a gel pen, I'm just going to go ahead and go over these black lines around this top piece here because this is supposed to be white. So I just want to hide the lines if we can. And I'm going to add a highlight on to our little apple. Okay guys, and that's our little Snow White all completed. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video.